And I think that to me is the big thing.
So the big question is, what are top agents doing to absolutely crush it in real estate, grow their teams and add more transactions year over year while so many struggle? To get the answers, we interview top real estate agents to learn their secrets to success. Listen, we believe every agent should make a minimum of $100,000 per year, and we're on a mission to make this happen. We've already helped over 100 agents achieve this with our coaching. So if you want to fast track your business growth, get to your first $100,000 in GCI or add another $100,000 in GCI using social strategies, then head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com, or you can just click the link in the description below. Also, just make sure to follow us, hit that subscribe button, and if you get any value from this at all, please tell a friend and leave us a review. My name is Andrew Dunn.
And my name is Peter Michael. Welcome to Elite Agent Secrets.
And I'm completely with you. I think it's about, which actually is going to roll us nicely into your third topic, which I think for a start, I'm going to, not even in real estate. Real estate's bad though, but in kind of the world, this whole managing of your mindset, I think people, it's a bit like motivation. It's like, oh, it's like hoodoo. It's like, it's whatever. Rubbish. Give me the tactics. Give me the strategies. Tell me where to click on the Facebook ad. Yes. Tell me the video to shoot. Fuck the mindset shit. Like, I need to make money. I get it. We're all there. But managing your mindset is how you show up every day. And a lot of people will have heard very successful people when they go, I always think about it like this about luck. People say, you know, do you believe in luck? And they go, you make your own luck in life. The more action you take, the more you just get yourself out there, put yourself out into the world, you get the luckier you get, which I totally agree with, by the way. Like, I've actually been fortunate enough that this has come my way. Like, I spent a long time doing work for nothing, and then stuff just started happening. And I was like, how is this happening? And you can go, like, you can come up with a million reasons, but the reality is that if I hadn't taken those actions 6 months earlier, I wouldn't have been in that place, and I wouldn't have been able to take the opportunity that I got. And that can come in terms of, like, if you're not at that house, or you didn't go to speak to the next door neighbor when you got a listing. This is one of the things we talk about and teach. It's like, when you go to listings, right? Do you ever go next door and just like pop your head in and say, hi, I'm selling the home next to you, selling the home down the street? These are all opportunities, but that you're probably not taking. A lot of listeners won't be taking. And it's like, so when that person you spoke to 10 months ago down the street, who had a great conversation with you, calls you up when you're on your last dollar, you really need a deal and go, I want to sell a home, and you're in COVID market, and all of a sudden you got a 750 grand house that you've got hot off the press that no one else has off market, you know, and then all of a sudden you get a 12 grand commission for it or whatnot. It's like, it's because you put yourself out there, and that's a lot to do with managing mindset and getting up every day and doing the fucking work. So talk to us about what you mean by managing mindset, how you do it, because I think we've all got our own strategies, and it's an imperfect world. I'm definitely not perfect, but it's something I concentrate a lot on because I'm really conscious of what I put into my own brain a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I don't watch a lot. I don't watch the news, for example, common one, but I don't, you know.
Well, you know, there's a saying that I always share with, you know, the agents in my program, that's what you repeat, you automate. What you automate is what you create. So if we're repeating and absorbing negative information, all the reasons why things won't work, well, then guess what we're going to end up creating, right? The more we repeat that, it becomes automated. That's just a narrative now that happens without our conscious control, and that dictates the results. So it's, you know, managing the mindset is understanding about what it is that you're thinking. But let's even just come back to, you kind of said something that was really interesting, and it was, you know, most people want the strategies. Most people want the, tell me what button to click, tell me what way to say this, tell me what to do. Everybody knows what to do. I can share with you what button to click. Your ability to do it, though, has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with your mindset, because our brain does not align with our goals. Remember, I said, I can say my goal is to get healthy and fit, does not mean I'm going to be healthy and fit by the end of 2022. My ability to take action, consistent action, and aligned action is what's going to dictate that result. So that all starts in the mindset. Everything that happens in our outer world starts in our inner world. So it's really important to pay attention to what are we putting in our brains. I think a lot of people right now are struggling with information overwhelm. It's all about download on me. What information? What's the best tip? What's the best secret? Let me read this book. Let me watch this series. And it becomes overwhelming. There's that overwhelm tip again, right? So that keeps us stuck. That keeps us stuck in procrastination because the brain is already in a state of overwhelm. So managing mindset is really about understanding that your brain doesn't align with your goals. It aligns with what you do. And what you do is a result of what you're thinking and believing. So one of the ways that you start managing your mindset is to really start becoming clear and aware on what are the beliefs that I have around my ability. You know, you can do 500 transactions, but at what expense? You can't tell me you want to spend more time with your family and do 500 transactions all on your own. It's misaligned, right? So it's about coming back to the beliefs that we have, the thoughts that we have, and because those are the things that are driving our decisions. You know, if I believe that hustle and grind is the way to go because that's what I've been trained to believe, then it doesn't matter how much I want to have time freedom and how much I want to spend with my kids. That's what's driving my decisions and actions, not my desire to want to spend more time with my family or to go on holidays 5 times a year. It's what I believe to be true that's going to get me to success. That hustle and grind is driving my decision, not my desire to drive it. So really important when we talk about managing mindset is to understand that what is mindset? It's the beliefs that we carry. And what are those beliefs? So start looking, start asking yourself, what do I believe about money? That's always a good one. You know, our money stories are a great place to start. It's like, what do I believe about money? What do I believe about my ability to make money? What do I believe about people who have a lot of money? What do I believe about people who don't have a lot of money? Because all of those things are clues and signs as to what the brain is using to make decisions from. So it's, you know, protecting your mind is a good way to put it, right? Being mindful about what stimuli and information you're giving, making sure you're not heading into information overload and you're not just one of these people that becomes a professional student, right? Is constantly looking and seeking. There has to be a point where you come back where you're not seeking, you're reflecting. You're grounding and rooting into who you are, what you believe, what you're thinking, and then starting that. That's your foundation for then moving forward.
So Michelle, I got a question for you. As such a high producer, somebody who's managing so many people, how do you find the time and the separation from everything that you're doing for the things that actually matter to you, right? Because I know I've been a little bit quiet on this podcast because I've been really evaluating and taking to heart what you're saying and started looking at, oh, crap, I am misaligned here or here. Like Andrew knows this, like family is very important to me, but my mindset is you got to hustle and grind to make it. So that in return now is creating misalignment where now I don't have either and I'm just hustling and I'm always working. So now that I'm aware of it and I'm flexing the awareness muscle, I'm trying to figure out is obviously my beliefs have changed because I have a family, but how does somebody at your level find the balance to do either, you know, or for the things that are important to you?
Yeah, and that's a great question. And thank you for you know, asking it and sharing your perspective too on what you're experiencing. I think, first of all, I don't believe in such a thing as balance. I don't think anything is ever balanced. You know, when I think of balance, I think of, you know, work being equal to family or personal life, and it never is. There's always one that's going to call your attention more than the other, and that shifts and changes. So I think it's very fluid. So I think first and foremost, it's get rid of the idea that balance exists. It's really about harmony and leaning into what is calling your attention now. You know, if I know my kids are fine and dinner's on the table, despite me wanting to be there, if I've got a deal that's falling apart, well, guess what? That's the house that's burning right now. That's where my attention has to be. And I don't make myself wrong for it. And I think when we make ourselves wrong for choosing work or choosing family or choosing to stay in bed because we don't feel good, you know, instead of being out there hustling and grinding, that choice, that being okay with it is the key, right? Because if I'm going to beat myself up, I'm not doing myself any favors. Yeah. So I think first and foremost, it's about really reframing what we believe to be true about this work-life balance. It is never balanced. There are times that I've had to miss birthdays because something else came up and that was what was pressing at the time. There has been times that I haven't been present at the table and I'm constantly on my phone because there's something that needs me and needs my attention and it's time sensitive. So I think, my ability to be able to take action and run a business and find time to write and find time to be with my family and do all the things that I do is really in my priorities. And I think that to me is the big thing. We trick ourselves into believing that we have time management issues. We can all tell time. We know how to count time. So we don't have a time management issue. We have priority management issues. And you've got to be very clear that if your intention is to, hit 6-7 figures this year and you're doing it alone, something else has to give. So it's a choice. You either do it and don't make yourself wrong, or you find another way to get there, right? Bring on somebody else, partner up with somebody else to get that volume that you need so that you can prioritize your health or your family or your relationships or whatever else is important. So I think it comes down to priorities, and my priorities change often, by the year, by the month, by the week. Right now, my priority might be fitness and well-being and just really looking after me now, right? Because there's been a lot of expending energy over the last 2 years to make sure everybody's okay in their businesses, adapting to the pandemic. So this is my intention this year. Well, guess what? That might change next month, and I have to be okay.
Do you have some kind of boundaries that you set that you abide by, where it's no matter what, I'm not willing to give this or sacrifice that, or I think turn my phone off at 8 p.m. I don't take any more calls after that, or?
Yeah, I'm not really rigid that way. I think for me, what works, and that works for people, and I think boundaries are important regardless. So how you define your boundaries, I think is going to be very individual for you. But I think for me, it's about being very fluid and not being so rigid that I have to be okay with, yes, my preference might be to shut down at 8 p.m., but that might not always happen. And I can't be so firm and rigid in my boundary that I'm going to push things away, right? It can't be a wall. That's not the point of a boundary. The boundary is it's something to alert you. It's something to ensure that you don't go too far out into the deep end. Doesn't mean you're not going in the deep end. It just means that I know how far I can go and where I'm at in relation to where I want to be, right? So that's kind of how I look at it. But I think it's, the key is finding what's going to work for you and the ways it's going to work for you. But understand that you do have to have priorities, and those priorities have to be clearly defined, because in the absence of having a priority, everybody else's priorities become your priority, right? We end up falling into the trap of pleasing everybody else and doing what everybody else wants us to do as opposed to what we need and want to do.
I feel like, something that sums up everything we've spoken about. Hopefully you don't feel like this is it does you a disservice in any way, shape or form. But I just feel like it encapsulates everything we've spoken about, which is what we actually said at the very beginning of the show, which is everything works. Just find what works for you.
Yeah.
That's really what we're talking about. Like, if shutting your phone off at 8 p.m. every day works for you, it works for you. Do that. That top producer next to you might not do that. He's happy at work. She's happy at work till midnight every night. Because
they might not be happy in their relationships. You got to look at everybody's circumstances are different, right? For them, work might be an escape, and that's what's keeping them sane. Not promoting that, but I'm just saying that it's different for everybody. And I think we have to watch that comparisonitis trap that we fall into.
100%.
Yeah.
I've been there, by the way, in that relationship front. Like, I've genuinely been there. Like, I was working midnight I didn't need to, but I was like, I gotta do something I was going fucking crazy. Like, God, it's not a good place. And then, that's a done deal, and it has been for a long time now. But it's like you do fall into it, and you've got to be self-aware enough, which is so true. And I hope everyone has listened to this episode and taken as much away as we have. Michelle, it's been amazing. What I want to do, you've touched on it a couple of times. I want to give you the floor. So if people want to reach out, I know you've got other stuff going on. I don't know how you do it all. You figured out your life. We're figuring out ours slowly. Sure, one day, Michelle, we'll be just like you. Apart from without the 300 days.
Listen, I figured out my life today. That doesn't mean it's going to be true tomorrow.
If people want to get in touch, whether it's phone, email, socials, website, tell them what you've got going on, how they can reach out, how they can get in touch.
Yeah, thank you for that opportunity. I think the easiest place to go is probably Instagram. It's where I spend most of my time. I have a Linktree account in my bio, so you can click on there and that will get you access to a private Facebook community that I have for agents who really want to dive deep into being able to take action and figuring out what's stopping them in that. That'll also link you to some of the programs that I have and offerings. So I think Instagram's probably the best place. My handle is @MichelleRisi. Or my website is alignedagentacademy.com.
Perfect. Michelle, you've been an absolute rock star. I've loved it.
You.
I knew it was going to be fire. Everyone listening, I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. And we will see you in the next one.
Amazing. Thank you guys. You've been such gracious hosts. I appreciate it.
Oh, and by the way, would you consider yourself a maverick? Are you an agent, team leader, broker owner who is constantly striving to push boundaries and smash goals? Well, we've already helped over 100 agents go over $100,000 per year in GCI. So if you're interested in learning more about our courses and coaching to help you scale your business, then head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com.